Hello, hello, my Soulpreneur Life family and friends. Today on our podcast, I'm so excited to introduce you to our tech witch, Miss Jade. Hello, Jade.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Kendra. It's really exciting.
I'm really excited. I've loved having our pre-chats and our chat yesterday where we really got to kind of connect, and I got to learn more about you and how you got on this journey. So I think that would just be wonderful to share with our audience today, because Tech Witch, I think that should just be the title for everything. Like Tech Witch is so intriguing and it draws you in, and it's like, what does it mean? What is it? How can I be it?
I love that you said that because it's like there was like no intention with the creation of it, the name. It was just literally this thing that I put in my stories one day. I was like, if I was to do a training and call it this or this, what would people choose? And Tech Witch just took off. Um, but yeah, like I guess the evolution of how I got to this point of creating this school and being a tech witch was um try to keep it brief, but I used to be working corporate world, did 10 years in a banking career,
Oh,
got to
wow.
that point where I was like really hating life and like, I need to do something different. Found people working online through an affiliate opportunity, joined that business, moved to Bali, started learning all the ins
Oh,
and outs
wow.
of how to do marketing and um, systems and funnels and email marketing and all of that kind of stuff. And then through an unfortunate series of events, that company shut down, and then COVID happened and we couldn't travel anymore and I couldn't do half the things I was usually doing as a business. And so it was kind of like oh, what do I do now? And I was trying to be a coach and trying to be a course creator because that's all I really knew was a way to earn income. I didn't really know that there was this world of working behind the scenes for other people.
Yeah.
And I'd invested in this coaching program. And it was through that program that my business mentor was like, you've got all these skills that people actually want to pay for. Like, there's people like me who don't want to do this stuff, who will really suck at this stuff, who need support. And so she hired me, and then she started referring me to all of her friends. And then suddenly I was just like the go to tech person for all of these people. And this year it just reached a point where I was like, I actually can't do this work all on my own. I need help. Um, so yeah, it was kind of just like this spur of the moment thing where I just started posting stories and saying, I need to train people, who wants to learn. And
Yeah.
the Tech Witch name itself came from one of the people I worked with, just because she calls herself a sex witch because she's a coach in sexuality.
Yeah.
And when I joined the team, I was like, I don't fit in. I'm not this person. She's like, you're the tech witch. And so that name just kind of stuck over time. And I was like, this is the thing and it is like you said, it's kind of like that mysterious thing. So it's been exciting to just play with it.
I absolutely adore hearing your story because there's so much that is relatable within it, not only for myself, but for my clients too. I've heard them go through that same exact journey where it was like they enter into entrepreneurship through email marketing or affiliate marketing or MLMs, right? And then something happens and then they want more fulfillment or deeper fulfillment in a way that is more aligned, because not everyone has the energy to be in that sort of energy all the time, to be the front man or in that spotlight all of the time, right? And even the people who are in the spotlight, like you said, they have a team of people behind them supporting them so that they can be in their zone of passion, their zone of genius, and they don't get burnt out. Some of them do get burnt out because they try to do it all, which I've been there.
Yeah.
Definitely been there. Well, that is so relatable, and I love hearing that, because it's almost like we get, speaking from a perspective of me, of a woman, of a mother, of someone who also transitioned, right? Like from, I only did corporate for like 7 or 9 months after I got out of the military. And then I was like, oh no, this is not for me. This is not for me. Right. So transitioning and wanting to build something different. Right. And I love that you identified that, hey, I don't want to be the coach, but I love the behind the scenes work. And we talked about that yesterday too, right? There are so many people who glow, who shine, who are rock stars behind the scene, and they're not fighting for the light. They're not fighting to be seen in that way. They just want to be appreciated and do what they are really good at. So what was it for you that you just felt it in your soul? You felt it in your heart where you're like, I am absolutely certain that there is so much resistance to being a coach or being a course creator that I have to look over here, even though it may be a little bit scary.
Yeah, it was like, because even like my introduction to the online world was affiliate marketing. So it was like I was selling someone else's products. I wasn't having to be the face of it. And it was like once that got taken away, and then I had to try to create my own products, sell my own things, market myself. I was like, I don't like all of this stuff. I don't want to do this. And it was like, yeah, that real piece of I enjoy the systems, I enjoy the tech, I enjoy this world, I love the part of helping people, but I don't want to be the one that's actually having to come up with the ideas and create the things. And I don't know if you know much about wealth dynamics, but someone introduced me to that model, which it just tells you how you're meant to work. And I just like, it's one of those personality quiz kind of things.
Okay.
And I discovered that I'm a mechanic, and the actual way a mechanic works is they come in and they tinker with other people's, like they come in and fix things and see an overview of things. And I'm also a projector, and that's kind of like the projectory kind of thing. It's like we take that bigger look back and can see how things can be improved.
Yeah.
And so having that invitation into other people's businesses where they're like, what do you see can be fixed here, and how can we do this, and can you fix the systems? And I'm like, yeah, I love doing that. It's so
Yeah.
much fun. And just like seeing that you can contribute to making a difference as well without the pressure of having to be the one that's marketing and coming up with stuff, and hold like the whole piece of like, especially in the sensitive work that a lot of us do with coaching and stuff, like there's the trauma piece and this piece, and it's like you're responsible for a lot. And I didn't want to be responsible for it. Like I just wanted to be able to support the people that have done the tens of thousands of hours, that's a lot of hours, but the hours to master their craft,
Yeah.
and who have a message that I resonate with. I was like, well, I love their stuff. Why not just support this? And I found it so much easier then, because I was like, yeah, I love talking to people about your stuff. I'll happily do the marketing for you. So it just works.
I just want to acknowledge and honor that you were able to actually honor and acknowledge that, right? I am so hard-headed. Like I have been in positions where, and this is why quitting that civilian job that I had for the first time, it was like a Fortune 500 company. And I specifically applied for that position that I was in because, like you, I love doing things behind the scenes and connecting the dots, and like, let me see what systems you have in place and I can improve on those systems and go from there. Right. And it was a hot mess and drama. And I was like, this is not what I want. And so I stayed a couple months longer than I wanted to, because I was like, well, maybe I'm just being too judgmental, or maybe, I'm not giving myself enough, what I had all of these excuses. Right. And finally, there was this point where my gut and this experience that I had with the manager there was just all the confirmation that I needed. Like, I don't need to do this. And there's nothing really keeping me here, because it's disrupting my peace. And even in my interview for that job, I told them, like, the only thing I want is to keep my peace. Like, I want to maintain my peace. This job, I'm doing it like I was medically retired from the Army, 28. Like, I'm doing this to, get out of the house, stay busy, like have fun, whatever. and they had like great benefits, and it sounded like a really cool thing, and I'm really good at it, right? And they just kept beating me down, and I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole about the experience, but like they just kept beating me down. Like I was getting work done too fast. I was too, like, I was doing me, like basic stuff, right? But I was getting like reprimanded for it in a way. And so my light started to dim. I started to be less excited. I didn't want to show up as much, but I was still going until I got to that point where I'm like, okay, something has to change. And then I went into work that day and I had this experience with that manager, and I was like, this is it, I'm done. And I gave myself permission to quit, and I never quit anything. So that shame and guilt and like fear was there, but then it was gone, because I'm like, I can't give up those things. And so many other business owners are in that mindset too, of like doing things that they know they don't enjoy. When we have people like you, right? But a lot of us, we don't
Yeah.
know that there's certain people like you that exist or that are available to us, or we think it's too expensive or whatever, but it's always costing us something, whether it's our peace or our mindset or our time. So what would you say to a business owner who's listening and who's like, I want help, but maybe I can't, or maybe I shouldn't, or they're just kind of like in limbo about transitioning from being a course creator to wanting to be a tech witch, or wanting to find that flow and ease that you have now that you get to do what you love?
Yeah. I guess kind of two ways you can go with that. So for the business owners that are seeking support, the way I've looked at it, and like I've been in the coaching container for most of the year, where um there's been a lot of advice around building teams, and people have had that kind of resistance to, oh, but I can't afford it yet. And
Yeah,
it's like, but can you afford not to? Because
exactly.
the more you keep trying to burn yourself out learning these things and doing these things that aren't lighting you up, the more it's taking away from you actually being able to be in your genius and
Yeah,
bring people in and make more money. So it's kind of like that catch 22 where you take the leap and then it's like, oh yeah, now I've got the space and the creativity and the energy to actually focus on my thing. Um, and that's the realization a lot of people have been having when they've been hiring the tech witches. It's like, oh my God, like I had one guy message me last week saying, this girl just did all this amazing stuff. And he was like, I just want to pay her more now and I want to make more money so I can pay her more. And it's like he's now seen what's possible because it's
yeah,
freed him up from doing this stuff that he hates.
yeah.
Um, so that's the business owner side of taking the leap. And
Mhm.
then I guess from the side of if you're considering being a tech witch, um, like from the conversations I've been having with a lot of people lately, it's like so many don't know that this path even exists. And it's like when you come into the online space, all you see is all the coaches and all the
Yeah,
facilitators. And so you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and you don't generally know that they've got a team of people supporting them. And so that's not out there really being spoken about or demonstrated or shown that it's even a real option. And so I guess just me having this message, there's people that are like, oh, like that's more what I'm drawn to. And I've had a few girls actually say like they've been through courses to be facilitators, but it just never felt like they had a lot of personal resistance because it didn't feel like they were ready to step into that role, because it is a big commitment to go out there and hold space for groups of people and take someone through this one-to-one transformational journey. And if you're not ready for that, it can be a scary thing. So there's like this disheartened network of people that are like, oh, now I've got an opportunity to start making a mark in this world. And it's kind of like a stepping stone then for people who do want to go on and create their own things. It's like a great learning ground.
I love that. I really, really love it. I really do. And I'm hearing you, and I'm remembering conversations that not only I had with other people, but that people were sharing with me their challenges and their difficulties. And it's like, okay, well, how can we navigate this? Or how can we, schedule time differently so that it can incorporate this, or have these days for content building, or these days for marketing, and these days for office calls, and these days to meet with people. And it's exhausting when you don't have support and you don't have balance, because it's like, why are you doing the things that you're doing? We know that you want to help people, but if you're not creating space, if you're not booking in time for yourself, you burn out, you get exhausted, and then people don't get to tap into your genius and what you offer because you're too exhausted to show up. Or when you do show up, you're already exhausted, so your life's not as bright as it could be had you just tasked out or handed out those other tasks to someone who was willing to do it and like excited to do it, really, right? So I think that's so incredible. And what is a way you think we can get the word out to more people that this is an option? Like, what is it? How do you share your tech witch? Is it academy or school?
School.
School. Okay, tech witch school.
Yeah. I was like, oh, academy would have sounded so much more professional. I went the school path.
That's cool. It's cool. It works.
It's funny as well, because like when I initially did the branding, it was kind of like a teen witch movie, and it's kind of evolved since then. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a bit more professional now. So yeah, it was like just funny, the evolution that it's gone through. But yeah, I'm actually working on a quiz which isn't ready yet, but like there's 4 avenues like 4 different witch archetypes that I like to talk about within the tech witch path, because there's like, I guess different business owners are looking for different things. And what I've noticed is like the 4 things you end up doing is either course creation, like helping them with that, or the launch and systems, so email marketing and funnels and all of those pieces for when they're launching offers. And then like the design and content creation kind of path. And then what was that? What have I said? Design and then content creation is that like social media kind of management. So yeah, I've got a quiz coming out, which is like a what type of tech witch are you? But it's still under construction. So the best place to kind of find out is, I am such an Instagram person. I post on there daily, probably annoyingly, multiple times a day.
Never too much for the people.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I have 2 accounts. I've got my personal one, which is just my name, Jade Marie Scarfone, and then I've got a tech witch school one, which is, I'll give those to you so people can spell them. But yeah, that's the best place to keep up to date with all things tech witch.
I appreciate that a lot. And I'll make sure to put all of that in the description so that everyone who's listening can make sure that you can stay in touch with Jade and see when she gets her quiz ready, so that you can take that and see which avenue would best suit you. I was listening to the 4 avenues that you were sharing, and I'm to the point now where I want to revamp everything that like all of my funnels, all of my email marketing, and I'm like, I could use all four avenues right now.
And then yeah, the beauty is they kind of do crossover. It's like, I'm finding there's like you tend to lean more towards 1 or 2 that you love, and then it's like, oh yeah, but these things all feed each other. And it's interesting though, the tech witches that are coming through, it's like, yeah, you can see the ones that are passionate in a certain area, and it's working really well because then they're serving different needs of different people that are wanting to hire them. So it's really great.
Yeah. And then you're able to kind of connect the dots too and see, like, as people are coming in, like, hey, this is what I need. And then you're able to connect them with their own, I guess, avenue where it aligns, right? And I think that that's beautiful. I'm really big into community and the belief that we do rise together. And when we genuinely come together without ulterior motives and things like that, beautiful thing happens. Like beautiful things happen within community and within networking and all of that. And it's like you have casual conversations and then you start bringing up people's names in rooms because you're like, oh, this person, this is their genius. This is, you know, I have to tell you about this or that. So I think that that is incredible too. And if someone wanted to work with you, the best way to do that, like to hire someone that you have in your tech school, your tech witch school. Sorry, I didn't mean to butcher the name. Would it be best to just reach out to you on Instagram or yeah?
Yeah. So at this stage, it is very much a manual kind of process. I am looking to eventually have a website directory with the girls that are qualified and what skills they specialize in. But yeah, at the moment, it's very much people message me and I'm like, oh yeah, this one's probably the best fit for you. And it's literally like, then I just connect them and they have the conversation and negotiate rates and everything. So it's very much a sovereign kind of thing. Like it's not me controlling rates or anything like that. It's very much I'm just teaching them the skills and then allowing them to grow in the way they want and then just being kind of a matchmaker.
And I don't want to get off track because I get shiny object syndrome, but if someone wanted to come to you and join your school to figure out like, hey, I know I don't want to be a facilitator, I know I don't want to be a course creator, what could they look for? What is it that your school teaches specifically, or how do you share that so that they could even understand that there's a market out there for it, there's the calling for it, right? And then what is it that you help them or guide them through in order to get that launched?
So there's a pre-recorded course content which is like an introduction to all the various systems that I've come across in, like the most common ones that I've come across in all the businesses I've worked in over the years. And then so it's got that kind of part of learning the systems.
Yeah.
And then it's also got the part of how to brand yourself, how to negotiate rates, how to find clients, like all the pieces you'd need to actually then build your side of doing a tech witch business.
Yeah.
And then they've got the added benefit that I have an entire network of people knocking on my door wanting to hire people. So I'm literally just referring clients on a daily basis. So yeah, that to find out more about that, I do offer discovery calls. I like to call them audition calls. It's more fun. But yeah, that's all can be found on the Instagram account as well.
Perfect. Well, I am so excited to share this with everyone because I know just all of the outsourcing needs that I have needed over the years and that I've seen my own clients who've needed over the years. I know that this is going to be truly transformational for people. Having that mental freedom, having that space in that room is really going to allow people to grow and expand in what it is that their zone of genius is. So I just think that what you are doing is incredible. And I'm so grateful that you were able to come on and share because it's just so exciting. Like this stuff is just so exciting for me because I see the picture from a different perspective, because it's like I've seen people in quiet desperation who are waiting for permission to be seen or to be behind the scenes or to get support or to have room for healing and family time and all of that. And you're providing room for that. And I think that is so important, especially nowadays where we see Instagram perfect images everywhere without the understanding of the story behind it or the intent behind it or the truth, right? Or the truth that may be lacking behind it. So was there anything else that you wanted to share with the audience today? I know I put you on the spot. I didn't ask a question. You're a projector. Why did I do this to you?
I think like the biggest thing is if there's any curiosity, like just take the leap and start looking at like I think the biggest thing is to just follow follow that little nudge and like that's kind of what's happened all along for me. It's just been like a lot of the time things don't make sense and I'll be doing things and be like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I quitting my job and moving to Bali? And why am I this year I let go of all my clients because I was like, I'm building this school. And I was like, why? Why am I doing this? So
Yeah.
it's just like, just trust those little whispers from within and learn to listen to them because they're usually quite spot on and they'll lead you on the most magical path.
Oh my gosh, that is so incredible and brave. And I know that fear is a part of every ounce of being brave. And so I just felt called to say that for some reason, because I know everything I've ever done, like the idea of letting go of all of my clients in the way that you did, like that made me think of fear. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot, right? Like that's to start over again. That's overwhelming. But everything we ever do, there's always a little bit of fear. And that's where bravery and courage come in, and trusting in our own skills and abilities and what we're tapping into. So I think that's really important to hear, for someone to hear today. So to all of our listeners, I will have Jade's socials, her websites, and all of that good stuff listed in the description. So make sure you check her out. It was such an honor to have you, the Tech Witch, visiting us today on the Soulpreneur Life podcast. And I hope that we can have you again. And perhaps next time you could share your quiz with us. I don't know, maybe.
I know. I was trying to use it as motivation to get it done, and then I had so many calls yesterday. I was like, that's just not going to happen.
That is okay. That is perfectly fine. And I love that you had calls. That's good. That's good. So thank you to all of our listeners today for listening in. Obviously, we love you and we appreciate you, and we hope to see you on our next Soulpreneur Life podcast. And until then, take care.